What's up, guys? The April Patreon rewards are now available. Armageddon, Teferi Time Reveler, and Nekusar the Mind Razor are all available through the end of the month. If you'd like to support our channel and pick up these sweet proxies, you can do so at patreon.com/itresolves or clicking the link in the description below. What's up, guys? Welcome to another gameplay video. This is probably going to be our last video before Ikoria drops. So I wanted to go with a deck that could transition really well into the next set. And that deck, in my opinion, is going to be Dimir Flash. So this is going to be the one we're going to start with today. I'm really excited for this deck because there are a lot of cards in Ikoria that we're going to be able to drop just straight into this list and hopefully improve the deck. It's already kind of an interesting deck, so I'd like to go over it, and then I think tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be able to get a list together with the new cards that we can talk about. So let's go through here. Everything except for like one exception, I believe, is instant speed or flash or whatever in this deck. So in the 1-drop slot, we have 4 opt as ways to card draw, scry, do the normal stuff, and then 4 Spectral Sailors. So this is our 1/1 flash flying creature, but also you can pay for to draw a card. So later in the game, you get a little bit more longevity and can hopefully draw some more cards. Really powerful card. Very good. Brineborn Cutthroat is our first 2-drop. It is kind of our beater for this deck. It's our early game beater, I should say. So anytime you cast a spell during your opponent's turn, you get a 1/1 counter on this guy. Obviously, we pretty much don't play during our turn. We pretty much always will be passing the turn unless we're playing that one particular card, which we'll talk about. But this basically is just going to get a boost every time we do that. So it's really powerful. 2, Blacklance Paragon. This card's one that I underestimated it first, and then I think I overestimated it a little bit in the Rakdos Knights deck. I think here it kind of makes sense. It's a nice kind of removal spell. It deals with other creatures. It's nice. It's not looking to be the damage dealer or anything like that. It's just looking to remove stuff on board, which it does a very good job of. So I like it for that reason. 4, Quench as our 2-mana counter. It is conditional. Obviously, they can pay 2 and get around this, but it does give us a way to counter stuff early in the game and hopefully kind of get around some of the big plays as we need to. Tyrant, Scorn, we're running 4 of those ways to deal with early game creatures or just bounce creatures back to the hand. Works really well for things like Kroxa or Uro, where they have to replay it, sacrifice it, then play it again to actually let it stick on the field. So once it's finally stuck on the field, you bounce it, and they have to play it twice again. So has its uses there. Brazen Borrower, a card that we see in Standard almost everywhere. It's a fantastic card. Not only is it a great tempo play, but it's a flyer that comes in on the opponent's turn and really deals a good amount of damage for that 3 mana, so I'm happy with it. Excuse me. 4, Sinister Sabotage as our 3-mana counter. It also gets that Surveil, so we get to dig through our deck just a little bit. Gadwick is our 1 card that does not have flash in this deck. But that being said, a well-timed Gadwick is very powerful. Not only does it draw you a bunch of cards, so when you finally run out of cards in your hand, you get to draw a bunch back. But whenever you cast a blue spell, you tap a non-land permanent the opponent controls. So this is your way of getting damage in as well. If they've got a bunch of creatures out, play a couple ops, play a couple Spectral Sailors, play some cheap stuff, tap down their stuff, and then you get to swing in with everything. Really powerful for that reason. Thryx, the Sudden Storm, is a 1-of in this deck. It's a 4/5 with flash and flying. So 1, it's an evasive threat that comes in on the opponent's side of the field. But spells you cast with converted mana cost 5 or greater cost 1 less to cast and cannot be countered. So this really doesn't have too much utility in the deck in terms of what it actually helps cast. But it does, keep things from being countered like our Gadwicks and our Lochmere Serpent, which is our last card. It is a 1-of. It's a 6-mana 7/7 with flash. You can pay 1 blue, sacrifice an island, and it can't be blocked this turn. You can pay a black, sacrifice a swamp, and you gain 1 life and draw a card. And then what's really cool is you pay a blue and a black, exile the top 5 cards from an opponent's graveyard, and then you get to do a bunch of other. It's a good card. Oops, accidentally. There we go. Okay. All right. So this is really our big beater for this deck, and it just has a lot of utility. So it's a very good card. In terms of lands here, we do have 1 Castle Vantress and 1 Castle Locthwain. And then we have the 4 Watery Grave, 4 Temple of Deceit with 7 and 7 on the basic lands. So that's the deck. It's a really sweet one. I do really like this deck. I'm going to talk about, while we go through this video, some of the additions that we're going to be getting from the new set. And then hopefully, again, like I said, we'll be able to play with those new cards very, very soon. So I'm excited. And in fact, before we jump into this, we are going to do our normal 3-game kind of rule here, but I just want to mention I have a Patreon ad that was playing at the beginning of the video, if I edited correctly and remembered. I completely forgot to make that ad like the last month and a half that we've been doing this, so I apologize, but hey, it's up now. You can get any of the rewards that are cycling down below, as well as any of the past available awards that we still have in backstock, of which we do have some. So there's a pretty good backstock there for you. If you're interested, you can certainly pick up some of those. We've been kind of reposting some of them just so everybody knows that they are still available. Some of them, I will say, like Atraxa comes to mind. We're quite low on our availability for Atraxa. Unfortunately, that was one that obviously everybody wanted, and so it went pretty quickly. But we do still have a few left if you're interested. So I certainly appreciate if you want to take a peek at that. I'm gonna keep the Paragon here. If they're a green deck, I'm expecting that they're gonna have some creatures, so I'd like to be able to deal with those if need be. Green red, okay. Pretty glad that we kept that, surprisingly. Well, okay, forgot. No, we are not glad we kept that, but that's okay. And we pass. This is the cool part about this deck. You literally just kind of always pass. So that's kind of nice. I'm going to quench this. We're taking hits here, but it doesn't look like they've got a land this turn. And wow, they got both of our Paragons. That's really interesting. I'm going to pay 2 here, and I'm going to pass. Very real possibility that we just kind of go in for this. The other option is just a Brazen Borrower, bounce, and then opt at end of turn. I think we're going to do that, actually. Had to let them get to their combat phase first. That way they couldn't just replay it and attack directly. Go ahead and do this. Yes, we are going to keep that. Anything that's dealing with their low ground creatures, we're super into. Let's play that, and let's pass. Yep. Okay, let's Tyrant Scorn this. And then let's Brazen Borrower this. This one's obviously difficult to replay in terms of mana. That's why I'm doing that. I'm going to pay the 2 here. This way we can bounce and play a Brazen Borrower. So I think that this is the right call. Let's also talk about some of the cards that we're actually going to be getting in Ikoria. So the first one here is Sea-Octopus. This one is really, really sweet. It's gotten a lot of, I'll say, play, just because it's a really powerful card. So first of all, it is a 2/2 for 1 and 2 blue, which doesn't sound, amazing, but it has mutate for 1 and a blue. It has flash, and then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, by the way, I have it over here. That's why if I'm looking over here, that's why you're seeing that. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Now, essentially what that means is you can mutate at flash speed and then be able to ideally deal quite a bit of damage. So it's actually a really powerful card in my opinion. Also, I'm going to go ahead and Gadwick here for 2. Just to give us some extra value here, and hopefully this turn is not too crazy for them. Considering they're pinched on the red mana, I don't feel too bad going for this. Oh, okay, well, that's pretty good. I don't think we block, though. So yes, so it's a really, really powerful card for a lot of reasons. One, it doesn't replace Gadwick so much, but it does give us a way of drawing extra cards when we need to, which is really, really nice. Does this have... I don't believe it does, right? No. Perfect. Yeah. I'm gonna take a hit here, potentially. So one, it does come out at instant speed. So anytime you get a good attack in, you mutate onto and then draw a card off of. And so it has a lot of utility in a flash deck because obviously you're gonna have the mana open. Now what that means though is you probably will be playing that on your own turn, which is a little bit strange, but you know, it could be worse. Let's do this here. We're gonna tap that down. We're gonna keep that on top. Yes, they get to kill Gadwick here. Don't super care. Let's play... Do we play Cutthroat or do we play Borrower? I'm gonna play the Borrower. Island is actually very nice here. So if we do this, we can pay gain 2. Let's do this first. So let's do this. Put 2 in. This is a pretty big tell, obviously, but that's fine. And then we will pass the turn. Worth noting, we can just bounce this. Just to gain extra value here. I'm gonna let that enter tapped. Sorry, I'm thinking somewhat hard on all this. Let's do another 2. That leaves just 2 mana open for either Cutthroat or the Tyrant Scorn. Oh, and Quench if we want it. And then theoretically here we've got the win next turn. So yes, the Octopus here though, very, very powerful card in my opinion, one that I'm really looking forward to playing with. I'm interested to see what slots that takes up in this deck. To be honest, I think it's going to be a little bit tricky, but I do think it's quite good. So we'll certainly see as we go through. Gonna go ahead and do this, tap that down, and we win it. All right, game 1 we got. Absolutely love that. That was exactly how this deck is meant to play out. You never play during your turn unless you're playing a Gadwick. So very, very happy we were able to get that. Let's go ahead and jump into game 2, and we'll talk about our second card here, which is Slitherwisp. I love this card. So it's a 3/2 for 1 blue and 2 black, has flash, and whenever you cast another spell that has flash, you draw a card and each opponent loses 1 life. Obviously, it's a flash deck, so a lot of your stuff has flash. So essentially, this is just free card draw, free life drain. It's all the stuff you need it to be. Excuse me. And so I'm actually really, really excited to play with this as well. I think that there is an I don't know. Gadwick is so good. Gadwick is in there a lot for the card draw. It's great to be able to pull back those cards, make sure that you've got more stuff flowing. So I get why it's there. You draw a lot of cards at once, but the more important thing too is that it taps stuff down. I don't know priority-wise if there is a reason we would play Slitherwisp or something like that over at Gadwick, or if there's a better reason or a better card out there that we should be playing. We're against Azorius Control. The one thing I will say is, I assume Azorius Control, by the way. The one thing I will say is I find it very difficult to scry in this deck. I'm not 100% sure what the best cards are. And no, this is not Azorius Control. Okay. So I struggle a little bit there, but regardless, I don't know what the cards we take out of this deck are going to be. I think potentially Blacklance Paragon is a very easy one. It is a nice removal kind of piece, but we do have the Tyrant Scorn, and I think that that's kind of good enough that, you know, we would want to play that more. Let's play that tapped. Let's go ahead and attack him for 1 here. And we'll pass. So this is the Thassa's control deck. This one is mean. Yeah, that resolves. Let's go ahead and destroy this. Okay. And so I don't know what we're going to end up taking out for that, though. Sorry, I keep bouncing back and forth between conversations, but I don't know. I genuinely don't. There's a lot of really powerful cards in this list, so I just have to assume that, you know, Slitherwisp, things like that are going to be better than some of the cards that we've already got. So we'll see, obviously. Interesting. Yeah, that's fine. Play this. I'm gonna do this. Get the counter. And then block here. I kind of want to get the pressure on as much as possible too here, so we do have to be kind of conscious of that. I'm going to attack with both of these. If they want to trade off their detention, deputy detention, that's fine. We could be really tricky here, but I don't really think we need to be. Let's let them do their thing. And we get that back. So now we have card draw again if we'd like it. Depending on what they play, obviously. That's a pretty good one. So what? They gain 3 and then draw a card, right? So I am gonna bounce this. Play that out. So now we're dealing a butt ton of damage. Okay, we'll pass. Okay, and then the last card I wanted to talk about is Cunning Night Bonder. This one's really a good enabler for this deck. So it's a 2/2 for hybrid blue and black, 2 of those. It has flash itself, and then spells you cast with flash cost 1 less, and they can't be countered. All of that sounds amazing to me. So I really, really like that card. That's a great enabler for this deck, in my opinion. And I do think that's going to have legs to do quite a bit of work. Oh, we can't cast instant speed. I see. Teferi's very, very good. All right. Well, thankfully, we can still draw a card. That's the good part about that. Land is helpful. Let's get 1 in at you, 3 in there. And we'll pass. So here we do have the Sinister Sabotage up. Which I'm going to play that now. I don't want them to gain life. All right, cool. We got it. Game 2 in the bag. So one more game. We'll see how we do. So far, this deck is looking great, though. So I'm really excited, again, to play with the new cards. But also, I just think this deck is really sweet. So I'm pretty happy with it. But again, so Cunning Night Bonder, I do think this is a very interesting enabler for this deck. It cheapens a lot of the creatures in here. To the point where you can really start to play out a lot of stuff very, very cheaply, and then draw a bunch of cards and then play a bunch of stuff out in kind of the same turn. So I'm interested to see how that card in particular plays out. I do think the other ones are kind of givens, like, yeah, they're just going to be good. This one I think is just going to be good as well, but I think it's going to have such a huge impact on the pace of the deck. And that certainly is an interesting, we'll say, kind of way to look at things. I'm going to put that on the bottom. My assumption is if they're playing red and a Shadow Spear, they're going to have some creatures we want to hit, and we really needed to hit that third land. Really, ideally, we need a blue land here, but we'll certainly see what we get. Tyrant Scorn very, very good against these early game decks, though, so I'm happy about that. Let's go ahead and do this. Destroy that. Let's do that. And they said hello. Hello. And we'll pass. Normally don't like shocking, but I wouldn't mind Sinister Sabotaging something here before it even has a chance to hit. Do I care about that, though? No. We'll let that happen. If they want to equip, that's great. Just waste the mana. Or excuse me. This is a free equip, I should say. Go ahead and kill that. We'll see if they have a follow-up play. I really hope they don't. Oh, okay. That's actually fine. I'm okay if that's their follow-up play. I didn't want them to have a creature follow-up. Embercleave. Okay. We'll play that and pass. This deck has proven to be very, very good. Even if this game doesn't go as we plan, like, I do think, given how well we were able to handle the last two games, especially considering I'm kind of, let's go ahead and do this. Especially considering I'm kind of talking about Ikoria stuff more than paying attention. I think that this is actually a really, really solid deck. I'm going to throw that in the bin. As much as I love having a Sinister Sabotage, I don't think here is the time for it. I think we need to not only hit another land, specifically a blue land, but kind of dig further into our deck, maybe get a Gadwick if we can to start really drawing some cards. Okay, well, that's a good one to get, for sure. So we'll pass here. Interested to see what they play. Do they have another land? Yeah, they do. Okay. Playing the full cost for light up this stage. Okay. I'm gonna sabotage that. They're down to their last few cards here. I wanna continue to push them over the edge. I'll say good game. I don't think it's game over yet, but okay. Should have waited technically till end step. That was my fault. Brazen Borrow that. Get a counter. All right. Interesting. Okay. Let's go ahead and swing in. Yep. This does not give first strike, right? No. Okay. I'm going to do this here first. Again, I'd really, really like to hit another land. Oh, but Brazen Borrower is very, very good. Okay, I'm going to keep that. This just allows me to bounce this again. And get another counter. This deck is pretty sweet, guys. That's all I'm saying. Excuse me. Oh, and a Quench. Okay. Yeah, let's just attack in. Still really wish we had the land, but that's okay. The thing is, this is even getting out of range of like this, so. Okay. I think we let that happen. We're going to get to play out the Brazen Borrower. So that way we have a flyer. That's fine. Pass. Play out the Borrower, get the counter here. So we now have a 6/5. And we have the land. Very good. Okay. So now I'm going to swing in with both. This does have lifelink. So if they want to block, they're going to gain some life back. That's fine if they wanted to. I'm going to end the turn. So here we have the Blacklance Paragon. We have a lethal threat in the air, which feels good. Do I just play this? Like, yeah, I'm just gonna play this. I mean, this blocks it. They can pump it. Oh, they've got Embercleave. Oh, and it does have... Wait, technically... Okay. I hadn't declared blockers yet, but... So it's going to deal a lot of damage. I should have left up the Quench, I suppose. Okay, well, I'm just going to let it happen then. I mean, yeah, we're taking a big hit here, for sure. Well... That's gonna feel good. Okay. Down to 1. And we do have the Tyrant Scorn in hand. So when they move to attacks, yeah, we're just gonna Tyrant Scorn. So unless they have 4 burn damage, which could be a thing, in which case, well played. I don't really think we've misplayed here. Are they just bone crushing themselves? Yeah, they are. Well done. Very, very well. You go out with a bang. I love it. So we're 3-0 with this Dimir deck. That's pretty sweet. Again, I'm really, really excited about this deck. I think this is a sweet one. I believe Channel Fireball was the first one that I saw that really kind of played this up. So I'm excited to see how this goes. This may very well be our last Theros pack for quite a while. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. Let's see what we get. Nyx Lotus. So again, I am very excited about this. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to play it out with the new cards from the new set. Really, really excited about it. We'll probably be opening up some packs on video as well because we do have, as you've seen, I've gone ahead and pre-ordered all this. So I'm excited to open up this new set. This one looks really, really good. So please, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure, as always, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you are not already. We're doing a lot more gameplay recently. We even started our new JDC competition between Will and I, where we're looking at the most ridiculous jank decks. I've already got my next one picked out, and I'm really excited. So thank you guys again for watching. Certainly do appreciate it, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow again with this Dimir Flash deck. Thanks for watching, guys.